do you get when you have an alternate timeline where Russia is the leading superpower in the Cold War and it plans to invade America? You get Wolverine! No. Oh God, no, not again. Right here. Let's try this again. What do you get when you have an alternate timeline where Russia is the leading superpower in the Cold War because it has Superman as its adopted son and plans to invade America to bring about a utopian world? You get Hi, I'm Troy Bailey and welcome to the Comic Book Movie Collector's Guide, your insight into collecting all things superhero cinema, from movies to TV to cartoons, on all formats of physical media like 4K, Blu-ray and DVD. Today we are looking at Superman Red Son, a direct-to-video animated superhero film with a runtime of 84 minutes. The film was released on all digital platforms on the 25th of February 2020 and it was released on 4K, Blu-ray and DVD on the 17th of March 2020. It was directed by Sam Liu and the screenplay was written by J.M. DeMatteis. It is produced by Warner Brothers Animation, DC Entertainment and was distributed by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. This film is a standalone movie separate from the DC animated movie universe and is the 37th overall film in the DC Universe animated original movie line. The film is based on the 2003 DC comic book miniseries of the same name written by Mark Millar. And it focuses on what if Superman had landed in Mother Russia instead of America, the land of the free, when he came to Earth as a baby, and how growing up under the Iron Curtain would take the Man of Steel down a different path. Okay, the case and disc. Now, as you can see, I have the DVD version here. I believe this is the cover across the board for your American, Europe and Australian releases. I'll have them up here. I do really like this cover, this World War II propaganda type sort of look to it. It's fantastic, the painted cover with Superman standing over his minions. It looks really good. I like that a lot. On the back you have another nice painted cover with Batman, Wonder Woman, Lex and Lois just on the back there. It looks great too. And for the disc they've gone with the red, which is a perfect color obviously, with the soups from the cover there. Nothing too spectacular, but I love the color choice there. It looks great. And of course the spine, I love how they've written it in that Russian style. That looks good. Looks good on your shelf. So overall, for the cover and disc, I would give this an 8 out of 10. The plot and the story. Overall, I think they did a really great job with the story, with the whole Elseworld scenario of, you know, what if Superman was raised in Russia with communist values. I think the movie was paced really well. You kind of got all the information you needed to understand, you know, where Superman was sort of, where his motivations were from his upbringing, without it being too rushed and sort of trying to jam too much too quickly, or on the other spectrum trying to stretch it out too much and explain more than we need to know. But I think they nailed it pretty well. What I really love about the story is the idea, can Superman's moral compass be thrown askew, you know, by having a different political perspective on life, and sort of ask the questions of the nurture over nature. You know, are we a product of our surroundings or are we a product of our genetics? You know, it's a great question to sort of pose to what you would call the mightiest superhero in comics. You know, he's this beacon of like truth and justice in the comics, but you know, that's because he's from America. Like, is that because of who he is or where he was raised? So it really does a really good job of that, and sort of gives you an idea of what potentially could have happened if, you know, the tables were turned and he landed in Russia and not in America. Uh, but overall, I think it was great, and there's no way I could not give it a 29 out of 30. From page to screen. Now, full disclosure, I haven't read the miniseries by Mark Miller yet, but if I do, if I get the chance to, I really would like to. I just want to see how the ending's different. So, from what I've read, the adaptation is not 100%, and the ending is a little different. But yeah, I would like to see what they do in the comics, because I feel like this adaptation, it's a bit of a soft landing, it's a bit of a safe landing, shall we say. But I'll talk about that more later on. But as far as the characters go, Superman's costumes were on point. I just love the darker colours, just give him that different sort of almost evil vibe. And Jason Isaac did a great job with his Russian accent. It wasn't over the top, but it was dialed back enough to be believable, which is, you know, that was a tricky thing. Lois was the same driven character we've always seen, and was voiced by Amy Acker, and she was pretty spot on. But for me, the standout has to be Lex Luthor. It was voiced by Dietrich Bader, and once you kind of got used to his voice, you kind of were a bit off to start with, but once you got used to it, I think he did a great job, and it was a great take on the character, like nothing we've really seen before. But I loved he's this like this arrogant, confident self, you know, that's Lex, but he's kind of like the same but different with his motivations. Like, his motivation is to take Superman down, but, you know, instead of for personal gain, he's doing it for the greater good of his country. And that was a great little spin on it. And as far as the other characters, Wonder Woman, Batman, they were some great supporting characters in the flick, and they were pretty spot on too. I definitely love Batman. He was with his like terrorist, just jilted terrorist ways. I thought that was fantastic. So overall, from page to screen, I don't know if I could give it anything other than 20 out of 20. Special features. Now, I say it before and I'll say it again. There is really nothing with these DC Direct movies, and no different with this one. And this one has a sneak peek at Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, which I'm actually keen to see that, because Justice League Dark was a good movie. But yeah, that's all they've got, and yet again, no, just little, and especially with this one, oh god, how many different takes and interviews could you get with people about the storyline and stuff like that? I think there's a real missed opportunity on that. But as usual, because there's nothing on it, I give it a 2 out of 10. Critics reviews. Now, with the critics score, it was 88%, and the audience score of 64%. That's not too bad all over, I think. I think you get a bit of a dip on the audience score from the people who have read the comic and sort of hold it in such high regard that, of course, this movie wasn't going to live up to those expectations, and hence they scored it accordingly. But as far as the critics, I think it could have been higher, but there's a few average scores in there from people who are kind of their take on the politics of the movie, and the political tone that it has. They're kind of looking a bit too much into it, and you know, they think it's, you know, making a too true a statement, but it's just one person's version of it, you know, and just sort of take it at face value. It's not out there trying to jam some political agenda down anyone's throat. It's just some writer's interpretation of communism and what potentially could happen. So I think, you know, if you take that out of the mix, like, don't be too serious about it, I think you could give the movie a high score. So overall, if we add that up, that gives us a grand total of 8 out of 10. My review. So for me, this was a fantastic movie all around. It had a great story, great cast, and it was just a really enjoyable movie to watch. Definitely one of DC's best direct movies, I've seen in a while. And I would kind of almost give this a perfect score if it wasn't for the ending. Spoilers. It kind of lost its impact, I felt. Like Superman should have died when he saved the world, when he took Brainiac's ship into space. Instead of, at the end, he shows back up and it's just like a quick little nod of the hat to Lois, like, I'm all good, I'm just going to live with the mere folk now, I'm not going to be ruling over him. And it was just a bit of weak sauce, I was just like, really? Like, he should have died after everything he went through to give that more impact, But that's my only gripe, really. But it's definitely a worthy addition to your collection, and definitely one you're going to watch again. I really enjoyed it, and definitely one that you're going to pull out and watch again for sure. So that's why I give it 19 out of 20. The final score. So as we tally up all the scores, we get a grand total of 86 out of 100. Not bad at all. Pretty good score for a pretty good movie. I think it's well deserved. It's just a great comic book movie that any comic book fan will love, or non-comic book fan for that matter of fact. It's a good watch. And even if you haven't read the comic book, you're going to love it. And, you're probably going to want to go out and actually read the comic book. But yeah, overall, one great flick.
Your words are extremely kind, Premier Stalin. Perhaps too kind.
Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to let me know what you thought in the comments below. Whether you liked it, you hated it, or you're somewhere in between. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And don't forget to hit the little notification button so you don't miss any future episodes we've got coming up. And of course, as usual, you can contact me at thecomicbookmoviecollector@gmail.com, and you can also follow me on the socials at The Comic Book Movie Collector on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All the links will be down below. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.